I'm recording right now.
Yeah, let's just do that.
You're recording right now?
I already hit it. Yeah, let's go.
Just start it up, bro.
Yeah. I'm Zeus, Captain Zeus, the host of the most, here with my fellow nerds and squares on bpfun, aka the Block Party. Go ahead and introduce yourselves, boys.
I'm Voices of. I pretty much like D&D, but occasionally DC pops in there. So yeah, I'm hopping in here, giving my opinions on the garbage and dumpster fires and things that aren't of the DC universe.
True. I am Relatable Panda. Arguably, probably not very relatable according to Zeus, but I'm also here to talk about DC, and I'll try to keep any slander to a minimum. But we'll see how well that goes.
No, keep slander to 100.
And
we slandered the crap out of Disney. We're gonna do the same thing out of Warner Brothers.
Honestly, Disney, we didn't let anything slide. This is not the place to let it slide. They have more reasons for us to slander than Disney. Like, come on. Well, I mean, Warner Brothers before they bought Discovery. Discovery's actually fixing things.
Right?
They're trying.
They're trying to scrape up the pieces that Warner Brothers has left behind.
Pretty much.
Yep.
So,
Voices.
Where do we start with this
Black
one, guys?
Adam. That's what he was gonna say.
Let's just get right into it. So, I will say one thing. Number one, casting was on point. After seeing the whole movie through the trailers, which we'll talk about that in a little bit, I will say Dwayne looks amazing as Black Adam. Like, there's not a shadow of a doubt. Even when they started talking about it, it was like everyone knew he was the only person that could play it. Like, there is no other option. Because you have a Hulk of a man who's bigger than Henry Cavill, playing Henry Cavill, playing someone that's pretty much the equivalent with more or less, depending on what comic strand you like to listen to and view through. But the one thing that I have is the biggest pet peeve was the fact that the entire movie was put in the trailers. And Panda, if you want to close your ears, you can.
I will close my ears on this one.
Because the speculation pretty much sits as the whole thing laid out the entire movie. Because there is one line in the show that specifically says you have two options. Either we kill you, and then the other option is left out. But it's like, there's two options. Either we kill you, or you turn good and you defeat whatever demon masked up thing is in the trailers. Because they showed two protagonists. It was Black Adam for the longest time, and then randomly they threw in the DC Universe's version of Satan. And you're like, okay, so what's going to happen is Black Adam's going to wreak havoc for, let's say, two acts of the movie. Third act is his redemption arc, teaming up with the Injustice League or the Justice Society of America. He teams up with them. They defeat Lucifer, and then Black Adam decides to live a little chill. That's the movie.
That
I would bet money right now.
That literally sounds exactly like the movie, to be honest. Like, to a T.
And I'm really upset about that.
That's one
thing. And I'm really
too,
upset about that.
About like movie companies these days, they will give you the whole thing, bread, butter, and knife, on the table in the first, if not the second trailer. Like, it's like, I always try to wait for the first trailer. I watch the first trailer and then I'm done. But then you find out, oh wait, the first trailer gave us everything. It's a lot with the comic book movie specifically that this happens with. DC and Marvel, I mean, they're the two big boys up there. Valorant needs to work on some things and then try it again. But those two they just spoil everything. Every now and then they don't, when they're specifically trying to not have it spoiled, i.e. Doctor Strange, Endgame, Infinity War, that kind of stuff. When they're trying to get you in there, then they won't spoil it. But if they know, they're going to go see this anyways, who cares? You know, they'll just give us the whole movie. And then we're going to go pay to go see said movie.
I honestly think the fact that they do that is, to me personally, I feel the reason they do that is because they're trying to hook everybody who's not into superhero stuff.
Everyone
and
is
so
at this point.
The easiest way to do that is let's put everything out there so that way they can see it and hope we get the box office draw that we want.
Well, and what's so dumb about that is like Zeus just said, everyone pretty much is at this point.
Yeah.
Like when you can look at the top 10 most viewed movies and like what is it? 25 or 35% of all of those movies are superhero blockbusters.
Half of them are superhero.
Come on. Stop giving us a bunch of crap to it. It's like we're gonna go watch it. Everyone will go watch it. So instead of giving us everything and then being like, haha, now you gotta go watch it and just like put together the pieces of the trailer, it's like give us just a tiny bit. I did not want to see Dr. Fate in this. Dr. Fate is one of the coolest characters with some of the craziest powers in the DC universe. I mean, he's like Doctor Strange, but
better.
Arguably, depending on the atomic strand, again, could be better and definitely defeat Doctor Strange.
100%.
So it's like you have something like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, why are you putting him like multiple times, showing multiple versions of his powers in the trailer?
I have a gripe about that, to be honest.
What are we doing here?
So I think the casting for Dr. Fate is amazing. I think they did a great job with that. I also
agree.
think that Dwayne Johnson, as much as I don't like how much he's overused, I do think he's a pretty good role, if not probably the best choice for Black Adam. I think they're pushing him more the anti-hero hero side instead of anti-hero antagonist side, which is so cringe and annoying. But that's off topic what I was going to say. But Dr. Fate, what I noticed too, he's not supposed to have his helmet off. That's kind of the whole thing. If I'm not mistaken, it's Anubis, the god, who is in control and has the helmet on the entire time. I have seen Dr. Fate with his helmet off more times in this trailer than I have reading the comics. It doesn't make sense. Like, unless there's like a thing where he's like, oh, I'm cool. I trust you to like keep using me and keep having the helmet on to use the power, which I don't remember the god ever being that nice ever. Like, if anyone's seen Young Justice, you know what I'm talking about. Or, I mean, if you read the comics, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Like, it just doesn't make sense at all. Yeah. I'm very confused on that. And like you were saying, they're giving him this choice of be the hero or be the villain. And I'm just like, that was never an option for him. He was going to do what he wanted to do. And what he wanted to do just so happened to be the bad stuff that the Justice League and everyone didn't like. It was never, I'm going to kill people because I don't follow the rules. Because kids need to not follow the rules. Yeah. You know, no, that's not Black Adam. He's not going to come over and give everyone the people's elbow because, you know, he doesn't like them. That's not how it is.
But he's the most electrifying man in the world.
That's, first of all, hilarious. Second of all, I do want to lead this also into Shazam since that one is also coming out. I do think this movie looks better than Shazam, considering this has been 10 years in development. I did want Shazam 2 to be good, though, but it looks like it's going to be just as low budget and just 100%. As bad as the first one. I mean, the first one was fine. It was entertaining, you know, and the second one looks like it's going to be entertaining. And from what I heard, there's not any future for Black Adam and Shazam to cross over, which doesn't make sense since that's like his big bad. That's his rival. You got to have him cross over at some point, especially since you have Dwayne Johnson. Well, I know why, because Dwayne Johnson can never lose a fight, so they're never going to have him fight.
Well, something that I think with it is like also it's a factor of if they were to do the Black Adam movie, then what it should have done is in Shazam 1, you hint to it. Then Black Adam is when they went into the Shazam throne room, that was the hint.
I guess, yeah.
Because they were eventually there was someone beforehand, and then you see the electrocuted it was very subliminal. It was there. Yeah. But the problem that I have with that is then the next one should have been like
Clash of the Gods or like Clash of them, like
Yes.
like something like that. And the next movie should have been Shazam and the Family versus Black Adam. That's what it should have been. And then the second movie could have been
Adam.
Black Adam, the Family, and then the Justice League from America.
Yeah.
I don't care. The JSA or whatever.
That is
so
them.
But then the JSA. So those three versus Satan. Problem solved. Like, that's a perfect arc. That has a good build. And it's like, okay, you have Shazam and all the family are literally kids that have the power.
Yeah.
So if they were to find out that Black Adam is like this because he hates that, like, they killed his kid, because that's like the main arc. They showed it in the freaking trailer.
Multiple
that
times.
He's pissed because they killed his kid. So it's like, okay, then they connect with him on the idea of, like, we are kids. Like, this is the power that we have. We're not here. Like, there are good in people. Yeah. And the Shazam, like, family is the most happy-go-lucky set of people in the entire, like, in any of the universes of Marvel or DC. Like, they are the quintessential, like, kids have superpowers, so these are kids reacting with superpowers. That's what I like about the first Shazam. It felt like a kid that got superpowers.
Yeah.
That's why I thought it was funny. It was a fun movie. It wasn't a fantastic movie. Agreed. I'm not saying it's Snyder cut, but when you have something like that, like, okay, you have the normal Shazam movie, kind of decent, weird villain gets crushed, then it leads to Black Adam. Black Adam fights with Shazam, the family, they turn him around, they're like, hey, come with us, like, help us, and we'll help you, and then we'll all work together. And then at the end of that, tease Satan. Then you have a whole movie based around, like, the world almost getting invaded. And then, heck, if you want to pull it in, say that freaking Satan was sent by Darkseid or something stupid. Then pull it in with the Snyderverse and have more fun. But it's like they had so many opportunities
I just want to
do
say that
just
that
a
was
timeline
great.
right.
Like, just the fact that you did this in the span of 5 minutes, that was way better planning than I've seen Warner Brothers do since Zack Snyder stepped away.
Ever.
Like, that was amazing. Just round of applause, everybody.
But this is the thing, though.
Round of applause.
Exactly. But this is the thing, though. That makes too much sense to them. It makes way too much sense to them that they're blind to it. They just think, oh, let's do what everybody doesn't want with people that nobody really cares about and hope that they like it.
I'll never understand that. I
don't
get it.
And this is why we're going to make our own movie universe, guys. Wink.
Right.
That may or may not
be
the
Block Party presents.
Anyways. I mean, and, like, even to pull on a tangent, it's the whole idea that even falls behind, like, the, like, anime only type of thing. Like, we don't need we don't need a universe only or like an MCU only type of ending. I'd like to see some of the comics. Like, okay, if they would have done Civil War proper, people would have been pissed.
Gosh.
But the controversy builds it.
Dude, the thing is, I know this is a bit of a tangent, but you did bring this up. When Civil War, the trailer came out, I was so excited because I remember reading that comic and I was like, this will be the craziest thing ever if this comes into live action. The thing was, I was like, how are you going to do it? You don't have Fox, you don't have the Fantastic Four, X-Men, rights to them. I'm like, oh, but they have the Inhumans. They could still do that. There's Ghost Rider. There's all the Avengers. You could still do it. And then when you watch Civil War, you're like, this is the most disappointing thing with the worst CGI of a Captain America movie I have ever seen. I mean, granted, it also did Black Panther more justice in that movie than I feel like it did in his own solo movie, but that's another tangent. That was something else I'll talk about. But, like, when you go with, like you said, those controversial but yet absolutely amazing story arcs in the comics, and you put those into live action, it's amazing. Like, the Infinity Saga is crazy. It spans over, like, several books, and the fact that they did it pretty well was great. I mean, I wish they did more justice to that in, like, Civil War and stuff, but whatever. But yeah, like, Warner Brothers should be, and I hope they are, taking down notes from Marvel, the do's and do's nots, because they have so much room to work with. When they had Zack Snyder doing it, I think things were actually pretty good. I don't remember anything being a failure, except for maybe Batman v Superman, but that wasn't a failure. It just didn't live up to its expectations, and I still think that was a pretty good movie, to be honest.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. And most people found it entertaining.
I mean, the Martha thing was stupid, but
Martha.
But I mean,
The whole Martha thing was stupid.
that's the thing too, though. Like you're saying about comics and whatnot, and that's a really good point to bring up, because when you look at the comics and everybody who's read the comics, right? Just like you said about Civil War, that would have been a great way to do it as a movie. But this is the, I don't know how to say it, the producer side of it, I guess you can say. How many of those people that are going into the movie, realistically, let's just be realistic here, how many of those people have read the comics?
Half.
But that's the part.
Maybe less.
Maybe less, exactly. So you put that in there, like, I get that, but
well, but a caveat to that.
Go for it.
If you already have the script really written, stick with the script. Put the money into better stuff. The CGI on everything since Endgame has been garbage.
Exactly. No, I'm on y'all's side with this.
Yeah. Because, like, when you look at the stuff, and I'm sorry, we're still on MCU. But, like, when you look at the stuff from the MCU side,
we will.
I know. When you see the stuff from the MCU side, it's like after Endgame, they've been trying so hard to write everything together, to have tie-ins to every single show, to tie in every single show, to pull Kang into this one, but then not have him in this one, but then to pull the Daredevil into this one, but not actually have him in it for a long period of time, so that people keep going as clickbait. But, like, when you have so much effort going into these terribly written things because they're trying to write everything together, then you start looking and it's like CGI looks like dog on every single thing.
Yep.
Like, I swear a blind kid with a broken mouse could write better and build better animation.
Probably.
And, like, you have so many different outcomes of all of this different things. And it's like, you guys have comics. You have thousands of issues of comics. And, okay, if you want to go more towards the PC side of it, there's PC written comics. Like, they're written. So go with them. Like, there's an entire strand of Captain Americas where it's like, one is part of the Captain America from the LGBTQ community, one's a Native American, one's some random ex-Marine that has PTSD. It's like,
there's
okay,
so many ways to go.
Five Captain Americas. Cool, throw them out there. But it's just like,
there's also
what
Wolverine Captain America.
Like, why?
That's across the board anywhere, though. Marvel, DC, that's across the board everywhere. But going back to, like, what Zeus said here about, hopefully Warner Brothers Discovery is getting the do's and don'ts from Marvel. I don't see that happening anytime soon because, and this is how we're going to bring it back to DC, I promise. Marvel dropped the ball big time with fucking She-Hulk. Look, from the minute that trailer dropped, you said Daredevil was going to be in this movie or in this show, whatever the fuck you want to call it. We get a teaser.
Movie, they just cut it up.
Exactly, right? We get a teaser, maybe episode 3 or 4, right? About the costume. Where the fuck is he? Where in the fuck is he?
Episode.
You show a mid-season trailer that had an action sequence, a fucking love scene that nobody really fucking wanted, and y'all still haven't even said it. Y'all are focusing. I get it. It's She-Hulk. I get that, but don't tease shit if you're not gonna do it the right way.
Yeah,
and that's where Warner and DC needs to do it.
Yeah. And so let's talk about the most nostalgia-tripped DC movie of all time, because they're throwing Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck into it.
It's going to be
as
so
well
garbage.
As 2 Ezra Millers.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be so garbage. The Flash should be scrapped. I'm just saying it. Should be scrapped.
I
actually think it being a movie, it being Flashpoint, I should say, should not have happened at all. I get that it was probably their way of saying, hey, we're going to reboot the franchise because we don't know what we're doing without the Snyder. But, like, you still don't know what you're doing, even though you're trying to scrap it, but you're also not trying to scrap it because it's actually not really Flashpoint, but it is, but it isn't. And then with the whole controversy and just dilemmas with Ezra.
Just give me Grant.
This thing, no. I actually have an opinion on that. I think, I'll get to that in a second. So I think they should just scrap that movie in general. I think they're fixing things right. Shazam 2 is going to be meh. I think it'll be slightly below the first one. Aquaman 2, I would expect it to be better than the first one. Just not as, Not that good. I think Batfleck is going to be a really interesting addition, though. I'm not sure what we're going to expect with that. I'm excited because I didn't think we were going to see Batfleck ever again, and then we heard that he was going to be in Flash, and then we heard he was going to be in Aquaman 2, so we might be able to see him come back now, which is hopefully because Warner Brothers did say they were going to run 2 Batman like series essentially side to side, parallel to each other. One was going to be Matt Reeves' Robert Pattinson, and then the other one was reportedly Michael Keaton, but it might be Ben Affleck. We don't know. I kind of hope it is because I want to see Ben Affleck versus Deathstroke in that other Batman movie that we wanted. It would have been so cool. Like Joey What's-His-Face as Deathstroke on that promo was so sick. I think it was like the sickest costume I've ever seen.
Yeah.
The fact that we have no justice.
Joe Magelliano or whatever.
That guy. Thank you. So good. And I think what
also,
they should do... Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, like, quick little fun fact. Joe Magelliano is like one of the biggest one of the biggest D&D nerds ever.
Oh, yeah.
Literally, he hosts a giant celebrity game with, like, tons of high-res celebrities. Okay, continue. Sorry.
That would make you guys want to go watch our D&D campaigns on our channel, bpfun, okay? Don't forget to go check those out. We got 2 campaigns. One's for kids, one isn't. Anyways, so what I was going to say is I think what they should do is with quote-unquote Flashpoint, what they would do is recast Ezra, but not have it as Grant. I think Grant was fine as...
Come on.
Hear me out. I think Grant was fine as the Flash in the show. I think it was fine. With the budget, with the way the story was, he's a great actor. Like, don't get me wrong. I just do not see him as the DCEU Flash. Especially with the way that the universe is kind of set. I think we should have someone new. Someone blonde, preferably. That is actually, kind of what Barry is. I'm so tired of
That's where
blackhead
it is.
Barry's.
That's where it is.
Look,
right
look. Hey, don't judge me, okay?
That's where it is, right there.
But no,
buddy.
for real though, like Grant's great and all, but his time as Flash is over. It's like what, the 8th season of the Flash. We've had our fill with him. If he was casted as the DCEU Flash to begin with, I actually would be fine with that. I think he would have been fine. But we've already seen his time as the Flash. Several years. Several stories. We've seen everything we could from him. We need someone new, someone fresh, someone that's not going to abduct children and take them to a farm. Someone that fits the role of the DCEU Flash. And I think this version could also have a good relationship with possibly Ben Affleck's Batman, and then that could lead into so much more. Heck, maybe this could go into the New 52 or even like a rebirth kind of thing that they just do really early on. Who knows? That could be a lot of cool stories that they do. But that's just my take on that.
Yeah. Look, and then the way that you worked the controversy, and it was kind of funny to me.
No, thanks.
Going back to like you said, they're trying to do a Flashpoint, but they're not doing a Flashpoint, but they kind of are in the same way, but they're not admitting that they're doing it. I think with the recent controversy that has happened around their main star of that movie, this is also their way of potentially rewriting that character too.
Just get him out. Just write him out. That's it.
Just get him out of there.
I mean, I will say, if this movie didn't switch the ending, and like if I do go see this, and at the end it still sets up for Ezra Miller to be the Flash, I'm good with the Flash. Like, I'm done. Like,
exactly.
I'm done. Like 100%. He's too garbage of a human
to play such a good role.
Such an amazing role.
Yeah, because I mean, the Flash is the Flash has he's kind of like one of the hearts of the Justice League.
Exactly. I think he's like the DC's
He's
Spider-Man.
the compassion. He's the exactly.
Yes.
He's the equivalent to Spider-Man,
and not in powers, but just
because he's the happy-go-lucky.
Yeah, exactly.
He's the I always see the good in people type. I'm gonna try my best to help everybody because that's what I believe in, not because that's what I'm told to do. Because I see the good in people.
Yeah, that's how we got Godspeed.
Now, and now we did talk about, like, Zeus and I a long time ago. We did talk about when this was first all coming up, and we saw that Michael Keaton was in it. and there was the speculation of like, Michael Keaton possibly being like, the dad of the Batman dad and everything like that.
Yeah, we did talk about
I
that.
do think yeah, and I think something that could fall is we could see. I mean, one of the big things with Flashpoint that stuck out to me watching the animated version was the connection between like the older Batman. Now, granted, it was his dad,
Thomas Wayne,
and the young Batman from a different universe. Like, although it was a different universe, there was still that connection of like this was his dad, and like there was almost like a bookend that they were able to put there, because it was like, if it wouldn't have been me, then it would have been you, type of thing. Like Thomas looked at it as, okay, if I would have died, this was going to be the outcome regardless. And it was almost like Thomas probably thought so much better of his son because his son took the oath of never killing. Now, granted,
he actually doesn't.
That's not Batfleck, because Batfleck kills the crap out of people, like completely obliterates them.
He totally doesn't like
the
Arkham series smashing people through floors and walls. Totally doesn't do that.
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about.
The unedited version of the Batman vs Superman is wild.
I love it.
It's great.
Great.
If you experience it, it's great. Yes.
I will also say too
that was something that they have there.
I'm sorry, Thomas Wayne. I just want to say, he didn't like that Bruce was Batman. Because later on they do revisit him with Rebirth and the fact that Flashpoint timeline didn't actually get destroyed because of Dr. Manhattan. But anyways, he actually set out to dismantle everything that Batman did, which ended up having a certain person close to Batman dying, which I won't say because if you want to read that, you should totally read that Batman storyline. I think it's called City of Bane. It's great. That's the only thing. Thomas did not like that Batman or Bruce was Batman, and he also found it very weak that he didn't kill anyone. He actually was very pissed, especially at the fact of Joker. And when he learned out about the Red Hood. But yeah, just gonna leave that in there. Sorry, I just wanna. You're good.
Yeah.
Just wanted to throw that in there.
Yeah, a little comment.
I think something cool would be if they did. If they did Michael Keaton as like, he's the way that it connects to Ben Affleck's Batman. Like he's the way that it connects with it, and it's almost something like, I think something that would be really cool, and I have little hope in it, but I've seen a couple of people talk. I've seen a couple of people talk about like, so although they are pulling Michael Keaton's Batman into it, there was like, I don't remember if it was a leak or something, but there was a reference to another character that was younger, that was working under Michael Keaton's Batman, and it wasn't a Robin. That was like, I had seen it a while ago. There was a couple of the guys that were talking about it on TikTok, and I wish I would have seen the TikToks. Maybe. So that's what I was thinking. Possibly. And if it was almost an idea of like, there is in Michael Keaton's universe, he takes on someone else as the mantle. And like the only reason why we would see Michael Keaton in the suit is because he seems this is necessary. Like that we will probably see, like there could be more Terry McGinnis interacting with the Flash, and they're just avoiding it because, and I will say, if this was something they kept quiet, it would be outstanding. I have little hope that they have, but I'm saying the stills and the cuts that we've seen from Michael Keaton, it almost seems like they're trying to hide that it's Michael Keaton, but they know it is. So it's like, what are they trying to hide though? Because they are avoiding something in the trailers,
which would be a first in any kind of trailers.
Yeah, because I think if it were to be a thing where like Michael Keaton was old, retired, because he's old. Like they're not trying to make him young, and they said that. Now he's a little like there's stills of him bloody and stuff, so that's getting a little more violent. But if it was something where like he was teaching Terry or something, and then he kind of talked to Ben Affleck and was like, "It doesn't get better. Like you do have to get out." And then that were to be how Batfleck was like, "Okay, I'm putting down the mantle."
And then the Nightwing movie comes out.
I don't want to lose anybody else. Yeah.
Again, makes too much sense.
Like that. It does, but that's why I'm like I'm hoping that they've kept so much from it, because if it's the Flashpoint, it's like a lot of Flashpoint happened in the universe with Thomas Wayne.
Yep,
almost all of it.
So majority is probably going to have to happen. Yeah, a majority is going to probably have to happen in the Michael Keaton universe. So I'm just like, what's going on in the Michael Keaton universe? And if there's Terry McGinnis, keep Ben Affleck. I mean, not keep Ben Affleck.
Yes,
keep Robert Pattinson, because that's great. But go on the Batman Beyond train. The Batman Beyond train is nuts, and people loved that. Like it was hitting numbers close to the animated series. So stick with that.
Oh damn!
Do something with it. It's not done and it's not touched. And I mean, you get the kid, like our whole age group that grew up with it, because the age right before us was who grew up with the animated series. So seeing some of those guys come back, like there was the thing.
It's awesome to see.
The Supergirl, where they actually had Conroy in a suit. Like that was so dope. I actually looked up and just watched that one episode because that was amazing. Seeing that, I think it was Batgirl. I think that's what it was. Now it was a little dumb, but I love seeing Conroy, hearing his voice, and him being in like a suit. And he had said like he had been wear and tear. So every Batman that the DC is touching on has now shown like they're busted up. There's something wrong with them. There's something that's going wrong with them. So if they were to pull Michaels and then be like, he gave it up to somebody else who was better at it, and then he tells Ben Affleck like, get out while you still can. Like you lost one Robin, get out.
Don't do it again.
I will say, we did expand on the Batman Beyond movie topic a lot in one of our other DC Universe podcast episodes. I think it was the Restore the Snyderverse one specifically. So if you want to hear our entire, I know it was Voices and our entire depth on that, definitely check out that episode. Because I agree with that 100%. I think having Batman Beyond running coincide with Robert Pattinson's would be dope, especially since it's two different styles, two different times, two different Batman.
So different.
It would be amazing.
Well, and you'd have two super opposite. Like Pattinson's is like he's working with like very basic machinery, very basic stuff, like doing everything on his own. Whereas like Terry McGinnis, almost everything his suit does for him. Like his suit transforms into stuff. Like it's like you would have two completely polar opposites, and they could do it.
They could totally do it. One thing I kind of am hoping we could, I have hope for and has a lot of potential for is Blue Beetle, which I think is kind of like might be a not, I wouldn't say a hot take, but like an unexpected opinion. You know what I mean? Because Black Beetle's a really fun character. I loved him ever since I was introduced to him in Young Justice, because that's really what kept me going into the DC comics. Like I read some here and there, but Young Justice was like, it was like the Teen Titans. You know, it's what got you into it. You wanted to learn more. You wanted to read more. And so like
I loved Batman the Brave and the Bold.
That one was cute. That one was actually pretty cool. But there's so much you could do with Black Beetle, especially since there's other Beetles out there. And, you know, we see that in Young Justice, for example. Yes. And I think the casting they have for him, for Blue Beetle, looks pretty cool. I think what they could do, too, is bring in the original Blue Beetle, and then this could be a great way for them to introduce Booster Gold. And then, heck, maybe we'll have a Blue Beetle and Booster Gold movie. And that'll just be super fun, because they'll just be flying through the time stream doing whatever they want and just chilling. And that's super cool. And you don't really need much of a budget, because there's not going to be a lot of action scenes in that. Unless they're like, you know, trying to fix Batman's wedding or something like that. And you might want to, you know, tweak it up a bit. But I think that one could be really cool. There's a lot of potential that they have, especially because it's DC. Yeah. The only thing is some of these movies have had MCU level CGI and MCU show level scripts. And that needs to change. And I'm hoping this does change.
You need to get it on both levels.
Yeah, it's got to be on both. It's either all MCU or none.
I mean, I will say that... Exactly. I will say that my hopes are... I want to say my hopes are high for it, but at the same time, I'm going to be realistic here. And I'm not going to set the bar too high for this. So I'm going in with low expectations, honestly.
For Blue Beetle?
But that's just to save face and... Yeah. And that's just 100% to save myself any disappointment that is almost guaranteed to come with this release. Hopefully I'm proven wrong, but with what we've seen in the past, minus the Snyderverse, of course, it's all been a letdown.
And
like, it's been built up, and that pedestal has been broken every single time.
That's a good topic you bring up, because I think comic book movies specifically have brought this upon people. The fact that they go in with
always do that.
Whenever, I would say probably before MCU started doing this, when you saw a trailer and you were hyped for it, you went in there 99% of the time, if anything, like 90% of the time, you were satisfied with what you saw. Movies were actually good, And there's pros and cons with the MCU, because it has destroyed the theater industry. It has also, I would say, crippled the movie industry in general. But because of its descent in quality, a lot of great gems are being brought up to surface. For like this past year, we got The Batman. There was The Northman. We did have Doctor Strange too. There's Elvis that came out. There's a couple of other movies that came out this year. All great non-Marvel movies. And I think one thing too is the trailers have a big effect on it. If you give everyone the trailer or the whole movie in the trailer, most people aren't going to watch it. Like, it's gotten to the point where people only either watch one trailer or none of the trailers, and then just go in blind. And it's the other thing too. It's where you make it look good in the trailer, which is its job, but then the movie itself is just such a disappointment. Like Thor Love and Thunder, in my opinion, such a disappointment. Trailer looked good, such a disappointment. Again, I know we're going back to the MCU, but it's kind of it's the DC's rival. It's opposite.
It goes hand in hand at this
point. Like, the MCU is like a part of our lives. Like
it literally goes hand in hand though when you think about it, because both companies have done the same exact thing when it comes to they haven't learned from each other. Like, and I feel like I feel like they would benefit from that.
I would literally bet actual money that Warner Brothers could pull ahead if they went with the Snyderverse. Like, if they
100%.
If they made Snyder their Feige and just said, write us a script, write us a timeline, let us put it in. And what's crazy is, like, Zack Snyder had even said in an interview that he would have never done a Flashpoint because he didn't want to do what Disney did. Like, he said that. He didn't want to do multiverse broke. So now we can pull this guy in, sprinkle him there. We're going to pull this guy in, sprinkle him there. We're going to throw these guys, throw them in there. I mean, like, the most current situation of this, like, absolute garbage of frustration is this whole thing with, like, the Deadpool Wolverine possibly coming back.
Which would be great.
That's the most heinous garbage I've ever seen.
I'm excited for
it makes me so upset. I don't, because Logan bookended. Logan bookended it. Logan bookended the Wolverine. I don't want to see him back. I don't.
Okay, look.
Logan bookended.
That's a topic for another day.
That's a topic
for another day.
But I will have a point with what you were saying. I think DC does have the opportunity to get ahead, especially with how Marvel has been pumping out too much content. And a lot of it has been low quality. Every now and then, a little gem will pop up here and then. We're like, oh, this was pretty good, or wow, that was really good. But most of it has not been that good. DC has the opportunity with an infinite clean slate ahead of them. I think Zack Snyder's vision, though a lot of people were not fans of, I think it was needed, because Marvel tried to go the comic book route, and it was fine. It was great. There's nothing wrong with that. We have the source material there for a reason. However, Zack still went that route. He just did it with his own vision. And that's what made his universe so unique and so beloved, because there was things where people were like, I wasn't expecting this from a Superman movie. Like, the dilemma that Superman had with his first and probably only kill, making that no killing rule so substantial as to why he needs to end the fight before it even gets to that point. showing an older Batman who has been broken and beaten, losing a Robin, at least one. I mean, we don't know. I mean, supposedly it was Dick, which if that's the case, that's crazy bad because that's the first Robin. The fact that he's freaking amazing at fighting. There's the Suicide Squad. Yeah. Like, there was so much there that could have been developed on. And I think Discovery, I know, coming in, has mentioned or had shown interest of bringing back the Snyderverse. I don't know if Zack will be interested to come back, to be honest. I think it'll be great if it would, to be honest. They're looking for
I hope
the
they
new
do.
Feige. And honestly, I would be okay if he didn't come back because he's got a lot of his own material he wants to come. He's doing. Like, he's got his Army of the Dead stuff, his own. It's not Star Wars, but it's his own sci-fi movie he's doing, which looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
I know we're not. This is not supposed to be a Snyder cut episode. This isn't supposed to be a Snyderverse episode. But, I mean, with the way DC is, it's kind of one of the only options, especially since that was the foundation of all the movies that we have right now, except for the Batman. But that takes more inspiration from Nolan, if anything. But, like, I think that's probably the best choice. If you don't have a head, if you don't have a Feige, whether it's Zack Snyder or not, you need to, because you're trying to build a universe. Exactly. Whether it's a multiverse that doesn't connect, whether it's a universe that does connect, you need to have some sort of head. And that was Warner Brothers' big issue. Once they had Snyder leave, there was no one in charge. Everything was just there. Everyone was just doing their own thing. And that's why a lot of it fell apart.
Yeah. I even thought, I saw some guys talking about, like, I would even be interested in having Matt Reeves, like, this was what I'd be fine with. If they pulled two separate universes in the DCEU, one that was ultra dark and then one that was moderately dark. So you pull Matt Reeves, let him take everything that is Batman and go with a realistic Justice League-esque feel. Okay? Like, because when you, like, similar to Christopher Nolan, that's kind of the route that he's, like, leaning towards. And we've talked a whole lot about the Batman and, like, a whole lot about the future that could come from Batman. Mm-hmm. I have so many things that movie had so much in it.
We did have a podcast episode the on instance that. Go check that out.
Yeah. The instance of showing Venom, not Venom that's from Marvel, but, like, showing the serum Venom and certain things like that, like, it could lead into so many different avenues. It's like, okay, almost let him do it. And even if it doesn't make that, build on that. And instead of pulling in Superman and pulling in Aquaman and making it all hokey and jokey, like, give us a Batman that grows up, that finds a Robin, that has an attachment with a Robin, that has a Robin that grows up to be a Nightwing. Then he gets a new Robin. That Robin dies. Like keep growing with that. Because the problem that they had when they pulled Whedon in to make the Justice League is they were trying to copy Marvel. And they flopped. And they realized they flopped. Or at least they thought they did. And then they kept flopping. Because they kept that same tone. The DC should be dark. Marvel has the happy-go-lucky. If you have a kid, you're not taking the kid to go see the Batman or the Joker. You're not taking them to go see that. Possibly the Batman. But the Batman was also long. So it's like, you got a kid under 10, they're not going to sit for that long.
Nope.
But when you have movies and TV shows, and it also works because they want to split a movie up to like 16 different ways, the MCU does. So it's like, let them have all the little kids and give us, the adults that grew up with the comics, give us the dark, edgy stuff. I want to see people die. Like, I've talked about it before. I want Secret Wars to be killing everyone. I like to see, like, Batman get the crap beat out of him. I like to see him beat the crap out of people. I like it to be like, he just murdered a lot of people. And Aquaman does not fit that mold. I've never felt Wonder Woman. I don't think Wonder Woman fits those molds. So it's like, throw those out, stick with Batman. And if they had a universe that sparked off of Joker, and if they had a universe that sparked off of Matt Reeves, those two. And with the Joker universe, there's a different tone you can do. Number one, you can go absolute edge. Like 100%, push it to the boundaries. And I saw somebody talk about if they were to pull No, actually, they refuted because it was like they were talking about how cool it would be if Joker led into a Thomas Wayne universe, but they did kill Thomas and Martha because they left Bruce.
Yeah.
I forgot that was at the end of it. But like that would have been something that they could, like, if they avoided that, which they should have. If they could have avoided that,
It would
you
have
could
been
have let
great.
that in. If they would have taken Joker and put that into the Thomas Wayne, number one, you have a Batman that uses guns, and then you have a wife that's super twisted, and that would have just been a whole case of caboodle. But I think
some opinions.
you either die a trilogy or you live long enough to see Batman and Robin. So you die as a Joker 3. I don't know what they can do. They surprise me with what they want for 2. They surprise me with what they're doing for 2. So if they pull a 3 out of their hat and it's good, because Joaquin Phoenix said he would only come back if it was good. So 2 is going to be good. It's weird, and it's not what I thought it was going to be.
It's a musical.
But it's going to be good. Yes. It's a musical. Got Lady Gaga.
Yeah, so Joker 2.
That's why she's in it?
She's Harley Quinn. That's her. She is Harley Quinn.
And they're making it a fucking musical?
And it's a musical.
So before we start acting ridiculous about it, the reason why they're pulling this is because it's going to be from her perspective. Harley was always okay, you can put your headphones on because it's not, dog.
No,
it has nothing to do with that.
I do have.
It's not even going to feel like the Joker.
I do have an opinion, though, or an alternate opinion for your universe thing. I don't think they should have made a second Joker, nor should they have built a universe around it. I think they should have left it alone with just that movie.
Well, they would have scrapped Gotham PD. So,
well, yeah, Gotham PD. I honestly don't think they should have made Gotham PD. Be what they wanted. I don't think they should be making all of those other HBO Max spin-offs of the Batman. I don't think that's needed. And then also, Matt Reeves did say he's never going to do, Justice League or have any of those heroes in his movies whatsoever, which is great. Perfect. Yeah, which is great, and that's fine. It gives us the Nolan vibe, anyways. I don't. Yeah. And I think that's fine if like you said, we do have him build up with like a Robin. We do have him grow
the
up.
Bat family.
Exactly. And that's fine.
It's been around for so long.
I don't think we need a Jokerverse, basically. I think it's fine if we have the new gen Nolan verse, and then we have the actual DCEU, both coinciding. And that's fine.
Yeah. So what I saw with the Joker 2 is it's not from the Joker's perspective. It's from Harley's perspective. And it's how much the Joker is affecting her. Because she's slowly... they're saying... how the director even talked about it was he was like, it's Stockholm Syndrome. And that was all he wanted to say. And that's what they're kind of going to... they're going to take her. She's slowly going insane to match him almost. And in her head is all of the musical stuff. It's going to kind of be how, what's his name's girlfriend was for, she was non-existent for, the whole thing. For the Joker.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. It's something kind of like that. It's not actually going to be... It's going to be a concoction in her head. And the Joker is psychological. The second one is also going to be psychological. And... it's supposed to be an artsy kind of weird movie to it. Joaquin Phoenix is a artsy kind of weird actor.
Yeah.
Lady Gaga is an artsy kind of weird actress. So every component of it works together. It's going to be part of the Joker series, but it's not going to feel like a Joker universe because it's going to be based around Harley. As is, I think they're calling it, it's literally called Joker: A Tale of Two. That's what it's called.
Yeah,
because it has everything to do with her Garfield, centered instead of him.
Oh, no.
Technically speaking, it's a term is a reference to 2 or more people sharing similar mental disorders.
Yeah,
that's kind of what they're going for on the theme there.
I still don't think they need it. I don't think.
I am sorry for getting up like that, but I just had to go clean my fucking ears to make sure I heard you all right.
Damn, I'm fine with it.
Damn,
100% fine with it. Because This breaks the mold of superhero movies. Also, the fact that they are still going to make it R, it breaks the mold, and I'm really sick and tired of everything just being the same thing over and over again concocted. We had the Batman. It's fantastic. It's great. But I
know.
loved Joker 1 was crazy. It's absolutely bonkers. There was, I mean, I was uncomfortable. I was odd. Like it was just upsetting the whole time. So I'm like, so if I can sit in Joker 2 and I can feel that same bit of weird, that same uncomfortable, that same why is it dancing? Like what's going on in their heads? And I can feel how messed up these people are. When you can have sympathy for the Joker in the first one, when he is a broken man, this next one is going to be two broken people combined, and now they're psychos. So it's like, yeah, no, I'm good with it. I have like this is my hot take. I have zero pet peeves about this because I am excited that it's not the mold, and I'm excited someone actually said, "I'm gonna take the most villainous person in all of DC Universe, and I'm gonna make a musical out of him, and I'm gonna put another person in that is a decent actress, and I'm gonna have them two make a whole musical, and people can't say boo about it." That's what I like about it.
I will say this with the mold being broken though. I think that's fine. We need more of that anyways. I'm like you said, I'm sick and tired of everything fitting the MCU mold. Like one thing I loved about Northman was that movie was not like anything I've ever seen. The way it was written, the soundtrack, the cinematography, it was great. Like the director, he's just phenomenal. And I wish we had more movies like that. That was just it can be based off things we know, like comics, Norse mythology, it's just anything like that. Everyone knows and is already familiar with, but it's something completely different from what you expect. I think it's one reason why the Batman did so well is because one, it did take a lot of inspiration from Nolan's Batman, which you can obviously tell. But two, it's not like normal comic book movies. It's not even like the Nolan movies. It was a completely different way of it being written. Cinematography was great. Soundtrack was just as great. And we need more movies like that, and that's something I think DC needs to expound on, is the fact that they need to stop doing the Shazams and the Aquamans that are 100%. Basically like MCU mold copy and paste, and that's why they don't do well. Like, we need more Snyderverse style. Even if we don't have it back, we need something more like that. But that's just me. Panda, I know
dark, edgy kind of type, yeah. No, I agree with Voices in the sense that I was very uncomfortable sitting in the theater watching Joker, and I got the goosebumps, I got the chills. Like, I was kind of looking over my shoulder a little bit. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, afterwards, because I was like, "What the fuck?" Like, it threw me off. It had the perfect amount of like twists, turns, everything. And to what you were saying, Voices, when you can take arguably one of the most sadistic, I guess you can say,
and heinous,
and heinous villains in Joker, and kind of bring him down to where you're looking at him face to face, like, well, damn, maybe the way that you are kind of makes sense a little bit.
Yeah.
For me, that's what draws me into it.
Yeah.
Do I like the premise that they're going with for Joker 2? Maybe not so much. Not. I don't think it needs to be that way. If they do it right, though, which, again, we're talking Warner Brothers here.
Do we know if the director came back?
Well,
did Todd come back for this one?
It's presumed.
Yes.
Okay.
So no, it is.
It's
Todd Phillips.
Okay. Yeah, if he's back, then
I mean, he literally was the one that posted it on his social medias.
Okay.
I did not know that.
But Joaquin Phoenix said he would only come back if Todd Phillips wrote a good enough script for him. That was it. Like, Joaquin Phoenix would not be coming back if this wasn't Todd Phillips.
I don't blame him for that either. I do not blame Joaquin for that at all.
To expound on this also is that Todd Phillips' contract with Warner Brothers is that he writes it. There's the only thing Warner Brothers does is they put their stamp as like, this is our copyright.
They just stamp
Warner
it
Brothers doesn't go into this at all. They gave him the rights to the Joker, and they gave him rights to like some of the characters, and he just did whatever he wanted to.
Good.
Also, from a musical standpoint, Lady Gaga has posted about some of these things, and she's been in some interviews. She purposefully, so she is helping the same person that did the score on the first movie.
Oh.
She is helping to do it because, yes,
musical.
yeah. So she is helping to do some of the music with them, and they are purposefully picking a key for all of the songs to be in that is known as the most uncomfortable key in music literature.
Oh, I know exactly which one you're talking about, and I fucking hate it.
The feel of all of the music will just be uncomfortable. Like that's what someone also talked about is that when they say a musical, Todd Phillips, when he said it was going to be a musical, he said it's going to be a musical. Lady Gaga did a movie for a really artsy person that only went on Sundance, the film festival. The entire movie was all like had an amazing score, and all of the script rhymed. That was the musical, and that's considered a musical. So if you think of Joker 2 being two people that are broken, and it's just their whole script rhymes, and the music is constantly playing and shifting the mood, the feeling, the vibe, that's what I think this is going to be. I don't think it's going to be like, you know, the back of the room opens up and like a large stage moves out. I think this is going to be a music, a scored masterpiece, like a score of just a continuous, like long, almost like a Bach type of feel, where it's just a long string of sounds and music that's uncomfortable, and the characters are rhyming and like reacting to it, almost like they hear it as like a meta, but we can see it, like because of how psycho they are.
We're seeing what they're hearing, kind of thing.
Yeah, and because it's mostly in her head, that would also be the point behind it. And I mean, it could also be like when you look at the actual idea of like a musical, like how they define it, there's so many weird ways. And like there's even another movie that they refer to as a musical where only one character speaks in rhyme the entire time. Everyone else talks normally. So we could have a whole movie where it's like the Joker and Harley Quinn talk in rhyme to each other, and everyone else talks normally, and they only respond when there's music behind them. Like, there's so many ways that this could be. I'm not even looking at, like, this is not going to be like High School Musical. This is going to be something creepy, weird, and uncomfortable.
I quite literally imagine this as High School Musical.
You say musical, and that's what I imagine. Like,
and again, that's why when people like, oh, it was going to be a musical. Todd Phillips literally like did this. He was like, yeah, we're thinking about it being a musical.
Gotcha.
That's what he did.
Zack
so it's like, this is going to be something we haven't seen.
You know how it is. Musicals.
Nah, none of that. None of that.
That's not what we're getting.
There could be a possibility. There could be a possibility of like, you know, them making some of the instrument sounds through the show, like through the movie. Like, there's like a squeaky cart that they're walking with, or like he's in a wheelchair because of his drugs, and the wheelchair makes like a creak that is their tone.
A rhythmic kind of creak that's going on with it.
It's a rhythm-based movie.
That would be cool to do, but you have to do that right.
Well, and it's Todd Phillips with Joaquin Phoenix and the same guy that scored the other one.
Well, I mean, score-wise, I'm not worried about the score-wise, because clearly the score that they had in Joker 1 was great and amazing from a musical standpoint of it. Standpoint of it, score-wise, that's going to work perfectly. Like, they're going to get the rhythm down on it. Well, I hope they do. They're going to have all that in check. Like Zeus said, when you said musical, my mind went to freaking High School Musical, Hamilton. But the way that you're describing it kind of makes it seem like Joker meets Andrew Garfield's Tick, Tick, Boom.
Yes.
That's kind of where I'm getting it, and it's just getting parts of that, because I don't know if you've ever seen it, but that's a great movie. That gives me a little bit more hope for Joker.
That's what I'm saying with it. And I also thought something that would be cool is, like, I know we've talked about Joker a lot, but one thing with it is if they did try to pull a Batman in, or some type of Bruce Wayne like keying in with it, it would be so different than we've ever seen. Because this is the first time that Joker isn't a mastermind. Joker is a mentally ill person. Like, he didn't.
He's also
he
a
didn't
mastermind in his own way.
But like what I'm saying is he could like this Joker could not have orchestrated something like the Riddler did in the Batman.
Facts.
But again, he still probably could. They could build him up like that because
Also,
but
facts.
he's already old, and like he
Also
has a
facts.
childlike mentality, and he stayed in that state, and it's like they're like he
doesn't mean that he
couldn't
can't pass that on to Harley though.
somewhat, but also if Harley is messed up, like I mean, we have no idea how this Harley Quinn is gonna be it. Like something that I saw somebody talk about is what if this Harley Quinn is still a patient, but the entire movie we see her as the Joker thinking she's a doctor because of how beautiful she is. Like you get to the end and it's almost like with that like that last scene in the end of it where you're just like, okay, did this all really happen? Like with the Joker where he was in the patient like when he was in the asylum and you're like, okay, how long has he been here? Like what
Did
like
that
there
really
wasn't a
fucking
train
happen?
of events that got yeah. So what if it was a situation of she's literally just a psychopath with mental illness and they just bonded.
Clicked.
Yeah, and they just bonded. Like she couldn't like she might not even be a doctor. She could just be a patient. Because it's his own take. I mean, it literally he said it's his take on Harley Quinn.
Yeah, that's true.
So
He
if you
can
have
do that.
two just mentally ill patients, so like that's why I also am like I would like to see a Batman because you number one, there's a sympathy for Joker.
100%, yes.
So I've seen like I don't know if you guys have read The White Knight, which is the Joker turns good and starts to like.
I've read a little bit.
Politic.
It's actually not that bad. I've
No.
actually read a little bit.
So this is, it's yeah, but it's pretty
Yeah.
much all of Gotham turns against Batman because they've had a fund that was made from taxes because of how many things Batman destroyed defeating people. And people are just fed up because they feel like he does unnecessary amounts. So it's like the Joker becomes a lawyer and he starts to like almost sue Batman for all of the problems that he's caused in the like in Gotham and explain like, you know, would there be this many would there be this many crimes and criminals and crooks if there wasn't a Batman? Like if there wasn't a hero, would there be villains? And that was like it's a really cool comic strand with it. But like that's something we could see. Like a Batman that we don't like. That'd be crazy. Like Joker 3 is him versus a Batman and we don't like Batman because Batman is just he's being a douchebag. Like I don't know, there's so many outcomes. And that's why I mean, I don't want I don't want it to be like 6 or 7 movies, but like 3 is always good. 3 was what Nolan did. 3 worked with this. It's
3 is
like,
always the magic number.
Snyder had the idea. Snyder had an idea for 3 movies. It's just like 3 has always been the good thing. I mean, the only time it didn't work was Spider-Man, but that's Sony. We don't talk about that. So if Joker 2 has like a really cool feel, and if it feels great, and they hint into some way of involving Batman, but it's not a Batman that we've ever seen, like I'd be fine with hating a Batman out of a movie. Like I'd be fine if I got to the end of the third Joker and they call it like the last act or something like that. And if he kills the Joker and Harley Quinn, and you now have a Batman in this universe that threw out all of his morals and is just a brute, I'd be fine with leaving that like theater as like this is a different Batman.
Damn, I fucking hate that guy.
Yeah. So like there's some cool aspects that they could do. And Todd Phillips he doesn't have a collar around his neck that says Warner Brothers. He's not Scooby-Doo. So like he has so much ability with this. And that's why I'm like 3. I want 3 because I want to see what his take would be on a Batman. I know it would be weird.
Look, man, I think
you're outnumbered here now. Zeus 2-1 here,
and that's fine. You know, that is perfectly fine. We're not here to gang up on each other unless it's in a heated debate, which this is not. I would just like to point out that I disagree with that. I think having one Joker movie was fine. It was a great movie. I think everything about it was a 10 out of 10. I think one issue with movies in generals is that sequels are not necessary. You need to leave movies alone sometimes, you know? Sequels are not always necessary. Heck, threequels are not always necessary. And as much as this second Joker movie could be and probably would be entertaining, depending on how this goes, I honestly don't think it was necessary. It's not like I didn't want it. I loved it. I loved Joker. I thought that was fine on its own. Just leave it as it is. But we didn't need a second one. And I definitely don't think or want to have a third one. Because we already have two timelines of multiple movies in the DC universe. Because technically Joker's in the DC universe, obviously. It's a DC character. And those are going to have multiples of movies. Shut up. And I think Joker was fine. I think one thing DC could do is just have those movies that are just by themselves that just take place in the multiverse. You know? It's something Marvel's trying to do and isn't very successful in doing. But I think that's something DC has an edge on, is that they can just do one-shot stories. Maybe like a sequel of a story, and then it's just out there in the multiverse of their movies, and it's not always having to be connected, which is something we did talk about in one of our previous podcast episodes. Like, not everything for DC needs to be as connected as it is with Marvel, because as we've seen, when they try so hard to connect everything, as of late, it doesn't always work, and I think that's fine. It doesn't always need to connect so much with so many characters. Like with Shazam, we didn't really see any connection until, they mentioned Batman and Superman, the two big boys. And heck, even with Batman, we really didn't know. I mean, that could be anyone. There's multitudes of Batmans, or Batmen. And then with Superman, there's a multitude of Supermen. I mean, we know it was Henry Cavill's Superman. We know it was Ben Affleck's Batman because they're in the Snyderverse. But you get the point. Like, you can bring up characters and stuff, and it doesn't necessarily have to be the ones that we already know. And that's fine. But, I mean, hey, that's just me. I don't think we need any more Joker movies. I think it's fine as it is. I love the way the first one was. I just don't need any more. I think we should just have different stories, different movies with different characters. Like, there are so many characters in the DC universe that have yet to be explored upon. I mentioned this earlier. Booster Gold. That is a plethora of stories you can do. That's literally, you can just do an anthology of Booster Gold movies that can connect with any and all characters in the DC universe. It could literally be all happy-go-lucky, and then he walks into a scene of Joker just killing some guy right in front of him. And then he's like, this is the wrong universe, and then just leaves, That's an example, but there's so many characters that they can do this with. They don't always have to be Batman, Superman characters. Like, as much as we love the stories that we've been given with those characters, and as much as they've been the foundation for the movies, it's not always needed. There's a bunch of characters out there. I want to see something new. Please. Thank you. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
I just thought of a great idea for
Joker
3.
I'm gonna just keep my mouth shut here. I'm gonna keep my mouth shut here.
3. Literally, I'm over here talking about Booster Gold, and you're like, I got a Joker 3 concept for you.
Oh, okay, I'm not even in DC right now, buddy. I'm not even in DC right now.
Okay, but I don't know why, but I just thought this would be crazy. Oh, no. What if it was fast forward a couple of years, somehow the Joker actually does start to develop a crime wave of groups of people and stuff like that.
Okay.
But they make it a psychological straight up horror movie. And the Joker sees the Batman as this messed up demonic bat. Almost like the Batman Begins type of thing, but an actual personification of that. And so the whole movie is him seeing all the people that he connected with and the friends and everything that he developed, the Joker developed, and just Batman's just killing them all. Making them all disappear, offing them all. I would the entire movie, you're I hate this guy. I hate this guy so much. Mm-hmm. And then he kills the Joker, and he kills Harley Quinn at the end. Bam, done.
I would like to point out that when you were talking about the Joker 2 and 3, early on, My envision was literally Scarecrow serum Batman, like we see in Batman Begins, beating the crap out of people, as that's how Joker viewed, and him murdering people, because we don't know if he actually does or not, because Joker's crazy. And that's what I envisioned, but I kept it to myself because I didn't want to feed into your delusions, man. I didn't want to feed into that. And yet we somehow... It's like we're related or something. With the same
actual
mindset.
horror movie. Jump scares and everything.
No.
That could be actually good. No, I'm not here to take a stand with you on this, okay? I'm not here for that. Okay?
Yes.
I'm here
to
talk about the other characters in the DC universe. Here. Okay? Like, we have Blue Beetle. Blue Beetle is coming out. What else we got? What else is freaking coming out? There's Aquaman 2, garbage.
It's over, Andy.
Can we all agree on one thing? Can we all agree on one thing?
It depends on what this thing is.
That is, if they did a Robert Pattinson universe and they went and tried to do something like Red Hood, that the guy that played Joker that killed Robin, Willem Dafoe. Can we agree that would be amazing?
I'm going to say yes.
Because he'd be the older Joker. He'd be messed up.
Look. Zeus wants to say yes, but every fiber in his being is wanting to say no.
I told
you.
Well,
this is also coming from the same guy.
I couldn't
listen. Okay,
this is also coming from the same guy that still thinks Avatar is a fucking movie masterpiece.
Okay,
who?
Avatar with the blue people is phenomenal. It's a great movie. Okay, I'm excited as crap for the second one. I'm so excited for that. But you know what? Shut up, you haters.
Voices.
Okay, shut up, you haters. Listen, the Zeus is talking. The host with the most is talking.
Since like 2008?
I have. I've watched it several times, actually. I actually watched it 2 months ago, to be in fact.
Name the main character.
Oh, freaking, it's Sam.
Exactly.
Dude, it's not a universe. I've seen it all.
I don't even know his actual name in this.
Exactly. Okay. Thank you.
You know what? No, it's Jake Sully. It's Jake Sully. There you go. Shut up. Anyways, what I was going to say...
You just looked it up.
No, was the best.
Looked it up with what? I just got a towel in my hand. What are you talking about? I looked it up. I just got a towel in my hand.
No, did you hear me?
No, what?
I said Zeus probably thinks Terminator Salvation was the best in the series.
I thought it was a good movie. It was a pretty entertaining movie. Look, I didn't say it was the best of the series, but it was pretty entertaining.
Dark Fate next?
Look, that was garbage. Okay?
Dark Fate next?
No, I don't have that even on the list.
What's next? Rey Skywalker is the best name in the Star Wars universe?
First of all, she's not a Skywalker, okay? She's literally a Palpatine. You can't just adopt someone else's family name because you trained with them for 3 months.
We brought him back.
That's not how that works. Look, what I was saying earlier... is William Dafoe, as much as he's a great actor and everyone's fan casted him as Joker, I actually don't want to see him as Joker. I don't know why. I feel like it's not the tone for a lot of these universes. Okay, tone's not the right word. I just don't think he fits. You know? Because with Robert Pattinson, he's a young Batman. I mean, we technically already have the Joker there. I actually don't like the casting for that one. I like how they have him dismangled because he actually fell into a vat of acid, so it makes sense. And it is one storyline where he looked like that as well.
Wait, hold on.
What?
Wait, hold on.
What?
That's not what they said for Matt Reeves. Matt Reeves' Joker isn't like that, though.
What do you mean isn't like that?
Do I need earmuffs on this?
Oh, yes.
No,
take that off.
Matt Reeves' Joker... Oh, you haven't seen it?
Yeah.
Matt Reeves' Joker isn't... Like, he didn't fall into a vat. They made that a thing. Like they pointed that out. Matt Reeves said that in an interview.
I know. I said like he looks like he did. Like he has the look of it.
Oh.
Like yeah, that's what I'm sorry.
Well, yeah,
that's what I meant to say.
Disfigured his mouth.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was about to say. I was like, that's not the lore. Okay.
No,
okay.
My bad. You can put.
He was born that way.
There you go.
I mean,
Lady Gaga.
Granted, it's a deleted scene, but you're good.
Yeah, but. I also, like I said, I don't like that casting for him, and I think we don't need him in it yet. I think we should have the rest of his rogues gallery in there first, Mr. Freeze, which should be and is supposed to be in the second one. I mean, it's mainly rumor, but anyways, we have the Court of Owls. We have Azrael. There's Deathstroke, one of the biggest baddies. Dr. Hugo Strange. There's
Bane.
Man-Bat, Bane, Firefly. Like, there are so many... Clayface. There's so many villains that we could explore in there. So, I don't want Joker. I don't. Like, it's just straight up. We had Cap with Heath Ledger. Amazing. Beautiful. Loved it. We have standalone Joker, Joaquin Phoenix. Beautiful. Amazing. Loved it. We had Jared Leto. Garbage in Suicide Squad, but was somewhat redeemed in Snyderverse. Fine. I don't need any more. Honestly. Like, I love the character. I'm so sick and tired of them going to him.
We just have too much of it, is what you're saying.
Exactly. Like, he has so many other characters that are just as, if not even more deadly than he is. Like, Bane. Bane literally is his rival. Like, is actually his arch nemesis. This man has broken him physically, mentally, emotionally several times.
Yep.
This man killed Alfred. Like, what more do you want?
How much darker can you go with it?
You honestly, the fact that go ahead. Sorry, get me on a rant.
Well, the one thing that I will say is when it comes to Matt Reeves' Batman, though, I need all of the villains to be realistic. That's it. That's the only thing I need. So I can't have Clayface. I can't see Clayface. I can't see Poison Ivy. Well, I could see Poison Ivy if they did something where like she was. If they, they'd have to swing it. But in the whole thing, like controlling plants, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see any of that. I don't want to see
like her whole
and I don't want to see Clayface.
It's
I know.
Ivy.
But what I'm saying though is, if it's a realistic universe, I don't want to see a chick having powers to control plants. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so maybe it's like some kind of technology that's like burned into her or something that allows her to do it. How about that? Is that
or even like she just knows how to extract poisons. Like that's an easy way. Is that she knows how to extract poisons from plants, and she puts them on like no, it's not.
It's so lame.
Did you hear about some of the? Okay, so you have I'll pitch it to you. You have an entire Batman series, where all these people, an entire episode where all these people are randomly dying in the most ridiculously crazy ways. There's ones that are like, they're having their eyes start to bleed and like asphyxiating. You have someone that's like the mayor or like one of the higher ups in like the entire place that like just drops dead out of nowhere. That they like all start to have boils and stuff. He starts tracking, starts realizing that these are all related to plants. He starts to realize that the plants have some type of burrow underground that's actually like connected into the sewers because the sewers have a bunch of crap in them or something like that. So then you start to tie in that he's actually searching for like someone that has this. You start to backtrack. Maybe she has some type of tie where she actually was a botanist, but she learned more on the poisonous side and was like working into an area that everything had to be like dangerous chemicals. She never took on any of the chemicals, but she knows exactly how to work with them. She starts to develop poison gas, different gases, maybe even works with other villains to make other types of gases.
Oh, Scarecrow.
Into the Scarecrow. Yeah. Like, you have so many different options of, like, a realistic Poison Ivy to where it's like she has poisons that she keeps on her fingers, or she actually has poisons that are on her lips. But I just think the whole, like, hokey pokey, like, vines coming up in a realistic world would be dumb.
Okay, well, look, you can do that, but she can't be a main villain by any means. She has to be a backup.
No, not at all.
She has to be a sub.
Yeah, she has not even that. She has to be like what Catwoman or not like what Penguin was in the first Batman, just there and has an impact. But
like a nuisance.
She can be very dangerous, especially with her control of plants. Which, like I said, you can do the whole technology route with that, and it's possible. I mean, we're cloning things as it is IRL, so I mean, who says that we can't control plants? But anyways,
I don't know. He sold me on it.
You are such a freaking simp. I swear, you are such a simp.
I literally, My name is literally
this stuff.
Relatable Panda.
That should just be called Relatable Simp.
I look for
That's
the
what it should
relatable
be.
stuff.
It's Relatable Simp.
Okay, Avatar lover.
Hey, you know what? Don't you dare disrespect that box office cinematic masterpiece, all right?
Nobody can name the main character besides you.
I just
if
named
it wasn't in 3D, it wouldn't have been box office.
I didn't watch it
Exactly
in
my
3D.
point.
That thing was IMAX. It was great. Who cares about 3D?
I don't care how you watched it.
I don't care. I don't care how you
popular.
watch it. There is no
The only
All
reason
reason.
why it's
effing
popular.
haters. You're all
There is
haters.
no
You're
reason
drinking the
why.
haterade.
There is no
You're
reason
snorting
why
that
in
hater.
2022. There is no reason why in 2022 that
IMAX
needs to be
3D.
back in theaters.
Hey, I never said anything about re-releases.
Nah,
Never,
IMAX 3D, that's the other reason
I
why.
disagree with any and all re-releases. I think those are terrible. Okay, I'm not on the re-release train.
No, we're just talking about the second one.
Exactly.
Oh, that's gonna be great. It looks great. What are you talking about? It's gonna be amazing.
No, they also Voices. They also did re-release it into theaters too. The first one.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that was what we were talking about. You know what?
Yeah, I know.
I'm guessing this
that
is
was
all-
my exact reaction to it.
I'm guessing this is all we're gonna cover on this DC topic because
Yeah, we can put a pin in it.
yeah, we're
Yeah.
gonna put a pin in this. That's it for our DC talk. A wink for those old school Christian rock.
Go out. Get out. I'm done.
Anyways,
Voices off.
thank you guys
Peace.
so much for listening and watching the episode. Really much appreciated. Let us know your controversy and agreements in the comments below. Whether you're listening to this on YouTube or Spotify, however you do that. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram at Block Party Fun, please. Like, subscribe, share the love.
Get it popping.
Get it popping, locking, polka dotting, whatever you got to do to get this family growing. No polka dots. It doesn't fit the
No
Joker
polka
2
dot.
vibe for you.
No polka dot. We're good with the pop and lock. We're good with popping and locking.
All right. Well, that's it here. We'll see you guys in the next episode, which will be about Star Wars. So that one's gonna be long.
Hell yeah.
Okay. See you guys at next time.